Years drifted by like soft winds across the dunes. Rayyan had grown into a man of quiet wisdom, his face touched with the calm glow of repentance. The fire that once burned in him had turned into light. In the heart of Al-Madinah al-Nur, where the call to prayer melted into the hum of life, stood a small building with white walls and blue lamps. Above its wooden door was a sign carved by trembling yet hopeful hands. Dar al-Nur, a place for lost hearts. It was not just a building. It was a home for souls who had fallen, for youth who stood on the same trembling edge where Rayyan and Zunaira once stood. Zunaira had returned too, not as the girl of glittering laughter, but as a woman whose tears had been washed by mercy. Her voice, once echoing with guilt, now trembled with grace. Together, they dedicated their lives to guiding others from the abyss they had once known. Every Friday evening, the hall filled with faces, some curious, some broken, some searching. Rayyan would begin softly. Once, he would say, I was a man who mistook fire for warmth. I thought a forbidden moment could fill an eternal void. But my prophet told us of those who fell into a furnace, crying as flames rose beneath them. And I realized that the real fire begins inside the heart that disobeys. His voice would linger in the air like incense, carrying both pain and peace. Zunaira would speak after him, her words flowing like rain. Love is not sin, my brothers and sisters. But sin disguised as love destroys what love was meant to be. When hearts forget Allah, they turn into ashes. But when they remember him, even ashes bloom into gardens. The crowd would sit in silence, a silence that healed. One evening, a young girl named Arisha came to them. Her eyes were heavy with shame, her hands trembling as if holding invisible fire. She whispered, Is there still hope for someone like me? Zunaira took her hand, smiled gently, and said, The gates of Allah's mercy never close, even for those who set them aflame. Repentance is not the end of your story, it is the beginning of your light. And in that moment, Arisha wept, not from sorrow, but from the sweetness of returning. Years later, Dar al-Nur became known as the Garden of Light. People came to the far and wide, not for sermons, but for sincerity, not for scholars, but for souls who had burned and been reborn. Rayyan would often stand by the courtyard at sunset, the sky painted in amber and gold. He'd whisper to himself, We were ashes once, but Allah made us bloom. Then he'd smile, remembering the ad that changed his life, the vision of the furnace that once frightened him, and now reminded him of the mercy that saved him. And so the story ended not in fire, but in light. For every flame that burns a heart can also guide it home.